Naturally you, naturally me, naturally golden, naturally free. I got the style, I got the grace, I got the looks, I got the face. Pour up some wine, time to unwind. I'm here to talk, what's on your mind? Good conversation, let's talk relation.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Naturally Me. I am your host, Veronica Smith-Creer, and I'm so excited about my guest this evening. I have with me my friend, my brother, my partner, Mr. Terry Davis. How you doing?
Super awesome, fantastic, and amazing. How are you?
Awesome. I'm good. I'm good. Good to have you. Now, Terry and I, we kind of go way back, and if we're honest about it, if we look at where we started from as being friends, we look a lot different now. Of course, we've aged a bit. Now, I'm from the class of 88. He's from the class of
87.
87. So, as you,
The class.
the class, that's how they
Yeah.
do it. That's how they do it. So, a long, 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 long time ago, without dating it, our hair was a little different,
Just a
right?
little bit different.
So back then, the girls were doing. I had a perm. Big hair was a big thing with the big curls, the roller sets, and all of that. And believe it or not, Mr. Terry was a little clean shaven back in the day.
I had the little Bobby Brown, the little slope, a little part in the middle. Yeah, yeah.
So now we're absolutely perfect for this show because we're both natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just had the ball a couple of nights ago, and for the ball, I was wearing a twist out, pin it up a little bit. So we're like in a few days after that for me. So my twist out is kind of pin up because, a few days after the ball, you got to do something a little different. But Mr. Davis, your natural is a different kind of natural.
Yeah, long hair don't care.
Men can say that too, huh?
Yeah, yeah. But for me, my journey started in corporate. At that point in my career, it was kind of frowned upon if you had braids, if you had dreads. But when I got into my 30s,
Okay.
I just wanted to start my own journey. And so for me, that's kind of what it was, just a journey. And 21 years now.
Okay.
So a long journey, a lot of history
Yeah.
connected to
Do
that.
a little something.
Yeah.
So 21 years. So in the beginning of that journey, and you say it was a journey, what did you see as the destination for that? Was it like I'm gonna do this for 10 years, I'm gonna do it for 20 years, I'm looking for a certain length? Um, any details on that, or has it just kind of morphed into its own
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, kind of morphed into his own thing again, more so of a personal journey. A lot of spiritual enlightenment along the way with that as well.
Awesome, awesome. So started off with the little baby
Just
twist.
the little baby twist, and from there it just kept going and going. I wasn't sure I was going to go this long, because you
Okay.
kind of have a little phase in between where you don't really like it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it grew upon me, and so now all my kids, nieces, and nephews, everybody just say that's what make you Uncle Terry. So
Wow.
yeah.
A little bit like Black Jesus. I've seen that picture before. So where does it hit you now? Mid
um,
bag.
yeah, lower back.
Okay. So what's your thing with the hair? You got any little special things you can do with it because it's very long? Any special tricks you can do with it?
No special trick, just again some culture enlightenment in that as well. If you go back and do the research on
Okay.
locks and dreadlocks, so as I studied that history, a little spiritual enlightenment with that, and again also being in corporate, I kind of wanted to break some of those glass ceilings, some of the perceptions that people have about the way that we wear our hair sometimes. So a little all that rolled up into one.
Awesome. So I know you wear it down quite a bit, like you have
Yes.
it today. But at the ball, you did something a little different.
Yeah, you got to change it up from time to time. So we just went, had it up for the ball, so a little something different.
A little something different for the ball. Now you had it back for the ball, but this time you had it back and a little up. It gave a little coming to America feel.
Just a little bit. But the thing that's really interesting, in all the years I've had my locks, my wife has always done my hair. I've never
Okay.
gone anywhere else to do it. So we're just here. I just had somebody to tie it up a little bit. It's not my thing, but again, just wanted to do something different.
Awesome, awesome. And then I'm glad you mentioned about the locks because I know there's a bit of controversy. And we didn't even start out talking about this, but it's naturally me, so we're gonna go where it naturally goes. A little bit of controversy with the term dreads, dreadlocks, and locks. I've read in some different platforms where certain people don't want them called dreads. They prefer the term lock because they don't want them associated with the term dreadful. But I think if people do the research, they understand that in its origin, it wasn't the dreadful, but you dreaded having to come in contact with those who had their hair that way because you didn't want to get that smoke.
Yeah, definitely some warrior spirits in that.
Yes.
For sure. And you'll see a lot of that as you dig into the history in Haiti, Jamaica, and some other places around the world. But definitely consider more than one resource when you're doing any research.
That's it. That's it. And so now we know our like your hair, for instance, it's more of a, if I can use the word, tamed style because traditionally it's more of a matted and just letting it really do its own natural thing. So I know here our culture is more of the retwist and making sure they stay neat to a degree so they stay separated. But then I can remember a music group, and I want to say it was Third World. Now that we have love, what are we gonna do with it? I remember them, and that was my first, I want to say maybe introduction with the dreadlocks, and I can remember the look because they were clumped together and kind of matted and kind of kind of got that feel. But with culture, we've kind of changed the things, even as far as natural hair. We've seen the afro, we've seen it in all different kind of ways, and I know my particular journey, if we can call it that, with being natural, a lot of that was just having healthy hair. Now I'm hearing more about women having perms and different types of cancer that come with that. But for me, having had a perm for over 30 years, my hair was starting to thin, and I want to get back to the big hair.
So I get women doing a lot of that to enhance some of the beauty, but I think natural is definitely would be my preferred method. I just think we're beautiful the way we are. Again, nothing wrong with some enhancements, but I know the men, we appreciate you being just naturally you.
What? I can appreciate that. And I think there is a new love for our culture. I think, we're embracing more. If we look back at some of the hairstyles and even some of the trends in fashion, there's nothing
we've always set trends and been trendsetters from the origination of mankind, I guess, so we've always been original, always been creative with it. And so, again, I enjoy my natural hair. It seems to be a lot of places I go, people are just amazed that it's this long and want to touch it and all that crazy
I get that
stuff.
too.
But again, it's just my way of expressing some of my freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah.
I think that explains it better than anything else.
And you save a lot of money on haircuts.
So with that, and we're gonna try to get out here in just a minute. How often do you have to try to maintain yours? What do you do? What is your hair regimen?
So if I'm out a lot and I have a lot of events coming up, typically every 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. But I don't do a lot of maintenance on it. But 3 weeks is a good time to retwist.
Okay, and he said he doesn't do a lot of maintenance on it, but you did hear him say that his wife does his hair. So do you do anything to it yourself?
No. we kind of made an agreement instead of me going somewhere to pay to have it done. If she would do it, I would treat it out to dinner. So it kind of works out.
Awesome. How long does it take?
If I do everything, she can do it now, maybe 45 minutes.
If you do everything?
Yeah. From start to finish. Sometimes you may just retwist the front or the areas that need the retwist.
Okay.
So a little less time with that, but all day, not all day, but to do it from start to finish, 30, 40 minutes. Don't got some inside head jokes. Don't start.
Did I say we were friends? So as friends, you sometimes take a few liberties, so I'm not going. I think y'all know.
Right now.
I think y'all know. So 45 minutes. Now I will say, and like you said, it depends on what you're doing, and I like for mine to be different. I don't want to wear the same hairstyle every day. Sometimes even with the twist,
Okay.
if I have it twisted in a 2-strand twist, and I will say that I just found out recently within the last couple of years that you can start your locks with 2-strand twists. And
Okay.
I thought it always had to be the coils and you start
Okay.
that way, but I guess that's another culture thing that we've grown into. So if I have it in a 2-strand twist, I've learned now to do them a little bit neater, and I can wear them a little bit longer, and I can pin them up, or I can have them down, swoop them up to the side, put a hat on, whatever the case may be.
Right.
So a lot of things, you can do a lot of different things, and I think that's one of the things that I thought was very important with natural hair, because when I wore a perm,
Okay.
I could have the curls, I could have it straight, I could have it up, and I just wanted to make sure that people understand that you can do the same
Do
thing
the same thing.
with natural hair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So I know you've had yours down. I've seen it up in a bun. I've seen it recently with the little ponytail, and I know you generally wear it if it's not down. I've seen you where you can take your hair and kind of do a
Wrap it,
band.
using the tie, yeah.
And I know a lot of people with locks can do that as well. So our own hair can do what it does for itself. It doesn't need any extra help. When I twist my hair, I don't have to put rubber bands on it.
Okay.
It holds on to itself. So go figure. So one of the things that we really wanted to talk about tonight is the ball. And wasn't the ball amazing?
It was so amazing.
Amazing, I don't even think it's the word for it. So this was our 4th ball.
Yes.
And can we go back and do a little bit of history about the ball?
Yes.
So Terry and I, I'm gonna say this again, Terry and I are friends. We've known each other since junior high, actually. Although in junior high, we didn't have a lot of dealings with each other because Terry was.
She was like a cool kid.
No, he was the cool kid. I was the nerd. So we knew each other, but not a lot of interaction. High school, maybe we got to know each other a little bit better.
Sure.
But Terry left El Dorado
Mhm.
because El Dorado wasn't big enough for Terry.
That's not quite the case, but
So I know a few changes, but you ended up in Atlanta.
yes.
And so I think within the last 10, maybe over 10 years, we've developed a grown-up friendship.
Yes.
Terry he's did a lot of things or is doing a lot of things in Atlanta. And if he wants to talk a little bit more about that, that'll be great. But it was actually with me deciding to run for mayor. Right before that, I think we kind of hooked up and kind of talked a lot about the things that he was doing for your, it was your class reunion,
Yes.
the 30th class reunion. Is that right?
Actually, before the class reunion.
Right.
Because we did the Don't Be a
Bully.
Bully
That's it.
stage playing production that we had at the auditorium. And so that's kind of what we initially really linked back up and began to collaborate on a lot of our events.
You want to do a shout out to me on that one?
So, long story short, short story long, when I really came to town, I was trying to find sponsors and people to help us with the production. Everybody seemed to point me in Veronica's direction. So, just working with her, just from day one at that time, I knew she was a person that could connect people together. She was always very passionate about her work and making sure people had resources and all that good stuff that you need to make something happen. So I certainly appreciate that. Along with, we just shout out Mr. Willie McGee.
Yes, definitely. We Batman and Robin. Yeah.
Yeah, who came in with me also. So again, just from that time, seeing her work and not just talk about what she could do, but actually was able to make those connections happen. So I knew right then it's hard to find good help, and when you find somebody that's helpful and resourceful, it's always good to team up and work with somebody like that.
I appreciate that. So yes, then after the fact, I gotta say, before I decided to run for mayor, I had a discussion with quite a few people, and at that point, Terry and I were having a lot of discussions about a lot of other different things, some of the things that they were doing in Atlanta and that area. Him coming back home, because he didn't just start coming back home doing events.
No.
So just kind of collaborating on some ideas. It was during that time that I was playing with the idea of running for mayor in 2017. So he was one of the people that I consulted because I thought it was important. People who don't live here anymore, that are from here, I just kind of wanted their perspective, a little bit of their insight. And so I remember asking about 15 people their thoughts on me running for mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them, gave me a little bit of insight. Some of them were just like, go ahead and do it. But I can distinctly remember Terry giving me this long soliloquy of don't be 87 years old. I use 87 because that's his year. About don't be older and wishing you had done some things that you didn't do. You had the opportunity to do them. Take advantage of all of that. It was this long paragraph. But ultimately, his response was, I got your victory party.
Yes.
And that's what really stuck out with me because to me, that was him as a friend saying, if you run,
You don't want him.
You don't
I believe in you.
so yeah.
And again, just seeing your body of work prior to that. Again, coming from corporate, also being an entrepreneur, business owner. One thing that everybody can appreciate is good health. People that can really make things happen for you. So again, at that time, I just saw your body of work. I think that spoke louder than anything for me. And definitely believe you will be a great mayor for the city, which is true.
Awesome. He had a little insight. So his response, I think, was one of my favorites, if I can say that, because he also mentioned and asked me a question, what would Vermetra say? And for those of you who know me, you know Vermetra is my baby sister. At that point, she had already transitioned, and that stuck out to me quite a bit because I know she would say to run. So from that, him saying that he had my victory party, he and Kim showed up the night of the election, and we had a victory.
Yes. Historical moment forever.
Historical almost. So after that, and after the win, I think a couple of days later, because I do remember that you all stayed a couple more days, so it was maybe almost a week that we made the decision that I wanted it to be a ball.
Yeah, because I said victory party, and not knowing it was going to turn into a ball, but I think that was a great idea. I'm glad we took the first step to get the first one rolling.
Yeah.
And we've been having a ball
ever since. So the first one was what was it? The
pre-inaugural?
Yes, mayor-elect. So the very first one in 2018 in December, just kind of got the ball rolling, so to speak. And the one that we just had was the finale.
Yeah. That was really cool. And what was interesting with this one, saw a lot of different faces from this ball. I mean, we have people who come every year. Thank you to those that supported every single year that we've had the ball. But definitely a lot of new faces in this ball, which we were happy to see.
Yes, definitely, because we know, and I shared a little bit because I kept wanting people to understand that this was the finale. This was the end of an era. I'm no longer the mayor of El Dorado. But even before I was the mayor of El Dorado, I had the nickname Mayor. Sunshine has been a name that people have given me for years for several reasons. Yellow is my favorite color, and I like to think that I bring some sunshine. In my mind, I bring some sunshine. And so after becoming the mayor, we just kind of put those two terms together, Mayor Sunshine. And mayor, for me, is an acronym, making achievements, yielding outstanding results. And so my friend, my brother, my partner, after I become the mayor, said, you ought to use that. You ought to, start your Facebook page with Mayor Sunshine. And so we did that. Sometimes he has really good ideas. So we used that, and I started the Mayor Sunshine page as a way of being a city persona. So since I kind of transitioned out of the official city representative, which El Dorado is going to always be my city, so I'll always be a representative, we transitioned the page. And I'm glad we did, because now I can market.
Do a lot of other things that you can do with that, having your own brand, having your own business with that. So a lot of exciting things to come.
Right. So now Mayor Sunshine is my own trademark logo. And so I'm excited about that. So although we ended the mayor's ball with it being attached to a city official position, now we can do something a little different.
Yes. So definitely planning to expand it, bring some different elements to it, hopefully collaborate and work with some other people as well.
Right.
So continue the vision. Continues, the journey continues.
Yes.
The movement continues.
Yes. And so talking about business and trademarking and all of that, Terry and I have had some other little collaborations that we've worked on. We're both El Dorado natives.
Yes.
Born and raised more or less here and spent our childhood here and just kind of grew up with the El Dorado Days concept being something major for us.
Yes.
I can remember being younger and just knowing that all the grown folks were going to be going to the El Dorado Days events.
You see different cars from different states, from California, from Texas, from Michigan was always in town. So you knew something big was happening in the city at that time.
Yeah, and this was before rental cars when you when you couldn't tell.
Right.
These were actual vehicles coming from different places. So that was always a different kind of energy that, you know, our generation just kind of couldn't wait till we could be a part of all of that. So we kind of saw that dwindle. So Terry and I kind of wanted to regenerate some of that. Yeah. Bring some of our energy to that. And so we have made a few changes in our collaborating. So we're not El Dorado days, but days are important to us. And so our childhood and our, I guess, preteens and teenage years and right before graduation and even after graduating from high school, sometimes you want to go back to those days, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we have branded back in the days. Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So again, back in the day, it's really a collaboration, not just us, but other people who also want to revitalize and have some really cool entertainment around the 4th of July weekends in El Dorado, when a lot of people come home. So, you know, we love to host events and concerts, shows, all that cool stuff. So I thought it would just really, really be cool to start putting events together around that with the back in the days. And last year, even though we've done it for several years, last year, I think it's kind of where we want to set the standard of the type of entertainment that we want to have in the city. I thought cigars and sundresses, cigars and sundresses was like a huge, huge hit. A lot of people really, really enjoyed that. So shout out to the Haywood Hotel for allowing us to host the event there. Then on Friday, we've always worked with the LC, the Hazel Ross Foundation, to help raise funds that weekend. So the golf tournament was a feature on that Friday. Saturday, we had the all-white affair with Tucker at the auditorium. Shout out to Mr. Mike for helping us put that on. That was really, really cool. And then Sunday was probably one of my favorite days. We had the legendary Don D.C. Carey comedy. J.J. Williamson was hilarious. And of course, the El Dorado's own
T. Davis.
T. Davis.
How could you forget that?
Yeah. Shout out to T. Davis.
Right. And then the young lady, Larry, she was here as well. So good lineup, but we got to back up. You got to back up to Friday night because front cover was at the L Slide. Yes, front cover always delivers.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with front cover. Amazing band. And so I love the live band. So you want to go out and see a show. You want to see the musicians. You want to see vocalists, and not just that. You want to see a show put on. Those guys definitely do a great show.
So we do have some things in common because we both love the live bands and all of that. I don't think either one of us sing. I'm pretty good at rapping. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. But I think it's important that people understand that through our collaborations, we've developed some signature events.
Yes.
Not just the ball, but as you mentioned, there's always going to be a white party.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a given. There's always going to be a white party. Cigars and sundresses is like our new thing. Last year was the second year doing it, but I think last year you kind of saw people looking forward to it.
Yes.
So this year we're going to do a little something. You always got to make it better.
Yeah, and not only that, we've also had the football camps where we got the NFL players to come in. Shout out to Eric Matthews and Kevin Payne, where we bring those guys out to work with the youth and have our football camp, our Let's Talk. And I love horseplay. Shout out to Keith Morris for allowing us to use his facility and beautiful estate to take the kids out. I love the horseback riding. We've had the four-wheeler side by side. A lot of kids caught their very first fish. And so being able to do those kind of things, I think it's just really, really amazing to do.
And so horseplay is more of a Terry thing because he grew up in Beulah Grove.
Oh, yeah.
And,
shout out to all the horses.
Shout out to Beulah Grove.
Shout out to Beulah Grove.
So horses is like, that's in your DNA, almost.
Yes.
So yeah.
I tell people I've been working since I was like 8 years old. My dad has always trained horses and boarded horses for people. So growing up, it wasn't as much fun then because he was so meticulous about his horses. So every morning before school, you gotta clean the stables, feed the horses, give them water. Then you go to school, and when you're back out of school, guess what? You gotta come back and do it again. So a lot of work in that, but I think horses are very therapeutic also. And then if you get the confidence where you can ride and handle an animal that big and have control of that, I think it boosts your self-confidence as well.
So you had a quote on Facebook the other day that said there was something about the outside of a horse.
That's good for the inside of a man.
He's a philosopher. We call him the BG philosopher. He come up with some good stuff sometimes. So I think that people who don't have that background, and I'm one of those people. I don't have that background, but I have seen how horses have a therapeutic effect on people in general, and that they've been used even with children with disabilities and things of that nature. So I know there's something to that. When I was the mayor, I think the first horseplay was the mayor on a mayor, yeah. And since that time, we've had a few other times where those terms have crossed.
Yeah. So even in Atlanta, we partner with the Berry County Foundation, okay, where we have a 35-acre ranch. Right now, we have 7 horses out there. We have a boys' behavioral treatment facility on the property, and so the horses are part of the therapy for the kids, and I'm the official equine therapist for that. So again, kids who've been through traumatic upbringing and have some other issues, the horses are part of that therapy for them. And it's always good to get them out, just to let them meet, touch the horses, rub them, get to know a little bit about them, and has a good effect on the kids also.
Awesome. And grown people too.
And grown people too. Even you see that now, a lot of people with PTSD and other things, horse therapy, equine therapy is something that's commonly referred to now.
Never thought growing up that all of those things that you did in your childhood with.
Oh yeah, that's just a small piece of, but we're not a small piece. Horses was a definitely big part of our family. On weekends, that was kind of our vacation. We traveled all over Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas, and my dad was really, really good at training the horses. So it was fun. Doing a lot of work at the same time. It was fun doing it.
So you're reaping the benefits of that now, and your grandson, what I don't even know what to call David Carter. He is a superstar. He DJ, football player, basketball player, motorcycle rider, horseback rider.
Everything that we can do, I think the exposure is key, especially for our kids.
Right.
To expose them to a lot of different things. So we don't push football. I push education as much as I push football. So basketball, I'm looking on baseball, soccer. So again, just getting exposure to all kind of different things and let him choose what he loves to do the most. Yeah.
But he does have a horse.
Yes. Horse name is Blaze. Okay. If you get a chance, we do a shameless plug.
Do it. And it's not shameless.
Jump out on Amazon. You can get The Adventures of David and Pawpaw. It's a book that Kim wrote for David and I. So it's really cool. I also have some math problems in there, some educational stuff in it as well. But just a book about some of the cool things that I get to do with my grandson. So again, The Adventures of David and Pawpaw. Get it out on Amazon today.
And that's awesome. I think that we have to understand, especially as grandparents, we can afford our grandchildren opportunities that we never had, never even imagined. So with your upbringing and the things that you were kind of forced to do to a degree, you found the privilege in that. And so now for your grandson, it's not work. It's
I saw a quote the other day that says, raise your grandkids, raise your kids, spoil your grandkids. But if you don't raise your kids, you end up
if you spoil your kids, you
end up raising your grandkids. So for us, the village has always been a big part of it. My wife being from South Carolina, we've had several nephews and relatives that have come through our home in Atlanta. So my nieces and nephews from here, well as some of her family from Georgia. We mentored quite a few young men. And for everybody out there, just know I run a program called 1830. If you need help with any young adults, let me know. 1830 is when you turn 18, you got 30 days to figure this out. That's either going to the military, or you got to have a job, or you got to go to school. But we're going to take them 30 days. We're going to assess everything. We'll help you get a job. And within those first 30, 60 days, we're going to take half that paycheck. You're not getting a Hellcat out of Red Eye, and none of that. We're going to get you a used Honda Accord or Toyota to make sure you have your transportation. We're going to make sure you have a job. Again, we progressively charge rent. It may start at $250, then it's $500, and then it's $750. So we just want to help prepare some of the kids for life. But again, my home is a transition home. You're going to come in, you're going to work, and
you're going to hit that dough. I saw something on maybe on TikTok the other day or a lady was saying that at 18 her kids had to leave. And I know we've had this discussion. And let me just stop right here and just do a big shout out to Richard Dunlap. Let me just do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because Richard is always behind the scenes, but Richard makes things happen. I won't say he makes some things happen. And he and I were kind of having a discussion because Richard is military and he want to be hardcore sometimes. He from class 87 too. They different. so we were having a discussion about kids and growing up and having responsibility. One of the many things that we've discussed, but I saw on some social media platform, I want to say it was TikTok, where the kids had to leave. But also, you read the comments, people like me that are very observant. I'm gonna use that word. We read the comments. We want to know what everybody else is saying. And so one of the things that was mentioned is that one person said that their mother charged them rent.
Okay.
At a certain age, they charged them rent. But when they were able to move out, she had saved that money for them.
Okay.
She had put that money in an account. And although they felt like they were paying her rent, she was actually putting it in savings for them. So once they left, they were able to get that money that she had been putting in an account for them as their rent.
Okay.
So, different concepts, different ways of teaching your children or somebody else's children. Like you say, you help other young people just figure out those things that may not always come natural to us, because I know our upbringings were different but similar. Our parents maybe didn't have the money to send us to college or whatever, but they taught us a work ethic so that we were able to do better for our kids than what was done for us. They gave us that push to keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, my dad was a workaholic, so all my life I knew him with two jobs: a horse trainer, and he always drove 18-wheelers. So, and growing up in our house, like, you don't sleep till 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. We got up early. We worked all day. I think my dad was really the hardest boss I ever had. So when I went out to start working for other jobs, nobody was as hard and as strict as my dad was. But as you grow older, you begin to appreciate and understand that work ethic. And my favorite quote from him was just always, "If you want something in life, you got to work for it. Ain't nobody gonna give you."
Yeah, sweet.
You
got to know that.
Yeah.
That's part of life. You got to understand it. So back to the quote: if you raise your kids, you spoil your grandkids. If you spoil your kids, you raise your grandkids. So you got to know, pick what you want to do. So I think people can look at us sometimes and feel like we were spoiled to a degree. Our kids, to a degree, were kind of spoiled, but we teach them that responsibility. So I'm proud of what we've done and what we're doing, and we just keep paying it forward and hope the kids get it. All of them don't get it the same way, but
they eventually get it.
Eventually get it. Yeah, we eventually got it.
Eventually. Because a lot of things people taught us some of the same stuff that we're telling our kids. And so my best parenting advice for me is just to reflect back when I was kind of that age. So you can kind of understand what they're going through and understand. No excuses, but just to give you a different perspective as far as how to nurture that experience where they are.
Right. And I think, again, Terry and I have a lot of discussions on that growing up and all of that, and just kind of putting those things in motion. I think that's why it's very important to both of us to leave something. You have to leave a mark, and it's very important. I think that's why even with the things that we've done as far as entertainment, there's always an educational aspect to it. Like you mentioned about the football camps and horseplay, that's still a teaching tool for the kids. I've done the teas with the young ladies and things of that nature, because we want to teach them life experiences, because it's not just going to school, it's not just sports, it's framing that into life lessons. And I think that's one of the things that you were most passionate about with the football camp. And I'm just going to go back to even before me becoming the mayor, one of the things that we had talked about, and I'm going to do this shout out to Joe Creer from the class, now my cousin, but we went to high school together, one of your classmates, one of our good friends. You all had kind of collaborated on doing the very first white party here. And it was going to happen around El Dorado Days and all of that. And so I was running for mayor at the time. And as Siri mentioned before, it was kind of a point of reference to venues and all of that, because it's just something that I love to do. But in doing all of that, Terry had mentioned about the football camp and how back in the day, TD stood for more than Terry Davis. So y'all who didn't know.
Oh yeah.
How do they not know?
How do they not know?
But just in case you didn't know. So that was one of the things that he had said he always wanted to do. And so I am as Terry will tell you, let's not just talk about it, let's be
Yeah,
about
let's
it.
do it.
So one of the things was my question to him was, so what do you need to do to make it happen? Let's just make it happen.
Right.
And so we did. And so that kind of started for here, the football camp that you do. And again, shout out to Kevin Payne. I love Kevin. He is amazing. There's so many things in Junction City and has come to El Dorado to do some things as well. And also, you know, you brought Eric Matthews, and he and his wife, Naya, are phenomenal. Catch them on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. They viral right now.
They are doing it. So that very first one, we had not only the football camp, but we also had the white party. We had soul food with Naya. We had soul sessions with Naya, and I want to say that you had a little open mic night that weekend, and that was El Dorado Days, and that just that started all kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, but I love to put on different events.
Yeah.
Like, of course, this was our first ball that when we started this, but we do a lot of different upscale events where we can transform pretty much any venue into one of the most awesome party atmospheres you could imagine. So we're doing that as well as all the events that we do out during the summer on the boat. So we just love to put out good entertainment together.
So Mystique Entertainment, don't get it twisted.
We've been doing
it is about entertainment. I wanted to mention too, again, about the collaborations and some of the things that we've done in the past, but I think it's important that people understand, even with collaborating, because Terry and I, again, I'm going to say we're friends, but we're also partners. So we work together on a lot of different things. And I think with any kind of friendship, partnership, relationship, period, because I do say he's my brother. I don't know how often he calls me his sister, but I do say he's my brother. We don't see things the same way.
Not all the time, for sure.
Not all the time. So Terry brings a concept to the table. I bring something very different, but we make it work together.
You just have to respect each other's strengths, and then know what lane you're in, listen, talk, and like in most good relationships, communicate.
That's it, because there are a lot of times when we don't agree.
Yes.
And then those are the times when I call him, he won't answer the phone.
I mean, I'm usually right. If she would just do what I say, like things would go so much easier. But I thought I was wrong once, but I made a mistake.
That was a mistake. So we have these type of conversations all the time. I tell people and I share with people, even with the ball, because I'm more in the middle. Like, I want to have a good time. I kind of want it to be simple. I'm going to bring Bobby into this because Bobby is very mild-mannered. Like, minimal is good. Let's just do this. So I'm in the middle. I put myself between him and Bobby. Terry is, let's do it big. Let's have 16 bands.
Sure.
Let's have a floating dance floor. So Terry is the extreme. So I always say he's a little extra.
Well, I mean, I said it before, I take people's entertainment serious. So anytime it's going to be an event we want to do, we want to make sure you're getting your money's worth when you come out for an event. And there's a lot of things that go on from the time of concept of an event. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. I'm not sure if everybody understands it, but just from getting the venue, the setup, the production, working with the bands, working with the DJs, you got a decor team over here doing decor, you got the caterers, you got the bartenders. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes.
And so I have to give him credit because the very first ball, I think most of it was on you. I think I took care of the portion that I took care of, but from the first ball to the last ball,
I've trained you well. I think I've trained you well.
I think he has. So that's another thing. You always want to, I guess, partner with people who have different strengths.
Yes.
And not to say that I'll ever see things or do things exactly the way he does or vice versa, but you learn different things along the way. And that's a part of collaborating with people who have different strengths. Either you let them do it or you learn something from it. So I feel very comfortable, and I always have because I did different events before with the NAACP and all that, did banquets and stuff. My ball was the first ball I've ever worked on. And to me, it was so, I don't know, I want to say it was just phenomenal to me that so many people had never gone to a black tie event, to a ball. And so I think that was the biggest buzz about it. It's like, this ball is for everybody.
Yeah, it really started to snowball. And so even coming up with that concept, I looked at all kind of Mariners balls from
Yeah.
around the country, right?
Mhm.
Just on different social media platforms. And so when we started that concept, we just took little pieces of this ball. I like this entrance.
Yeah.
I like the way they were serving drinks on this, and
Mhm.
the wine tasting, the violin, it's all that cool stuff. So the vision and concept to see that come alive was really, really, really cool.
It was. It was. And so we changed some things along the way. None of them have been the same.
Right.
We changed some things, and I've heard some people say that this last one
It was something
could have been the
special
best
about
one.
it. Yeah,
I
it
know.
was. It was. I mean, the first one is forever gonna be hard to beat because of what
Yes.
it was.
Right.
But
Right.
Saturday night was magical. It was
Mhm.
something different in the air on Saturday. And again, thank you for everybody that came out. Ladies, you guys. Normally I try to get a fellas credit for it, but I'll be honest, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close on this one. So shout out to the ladies.
Yeah.
Came out of look amazing.
Amazing, amazing. Not as many tuxedos because this one and the last one were party formal.
Yes.
The first two were black tie, very formal. We wanted the guys in tuxedos and all of that. And the guys did not disappoint. Let me say that.
Right.
The guys did their
Right.
thing. So y'all didn't slip. It's just the ladies, we keep going up. We keep going up. So the party formal just gave you a little bit more of a range.
Flexibility, yeah.
Yeah. You can kind of play with it a little bit more. One of the things that I enjoy, and I hope people enjoy it, is that I started with the first ball changing. I think it kind of became something. And let me just say this, because for the very first ball, I had a VIP outfit, and it was gold. That was for the VIP hour because we used to always do the VIP hour. That was something that we kind of came up with for the first ball. It was just a little bit more upscale. So we had the VIP and the general admission, got a little bit more with the VIP. So had a change. And so I remember having my general admission entrance dress, which was ultimately a wedding dress because I said I was marrying the city. And so then after that, I changed because we had a little dance number. So it was the 3 different dresses. And to me, it's kind of channeled my baby sister because that was kind of an inside thing that we had that, she would change clothes. And so I was going to just do it for that ball. But I went to Mayor Lott's ball after the fact. And he changed. And he said he got that for me. So I was like, well, dang. If he got it for me, I got to keep it going.
Right.
So thus the change after that started with my baby sister. Mayor Lott made it concrete that I had to change a couple of times. So this last time, it's a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little different. And so I think even at that, we, did a few things a little different. We had the 2 bands.
Yes.
This time you want to shout out the bands?
Man, shout out to the Lock Band. Shout out to Front Cover.
Yeah.
I think the bands were, again, incredible. Everything you would want to see when you come see a live band. So shout out to those bands for coming and rocking the ball with us. Always a pleasure.
Have a special place. Both bands have a very special place in my heart. And so you will see them hopefully pretty soon. They're going to come and do Naturally Me with me. The Lock Band, Mr. Reggie Phillips, is very instrumental, literally, in this program. And I've given him a shout out before. The theme song that you hear at the beginning and at the end, that's Reggie. Reggie did that. The vocals, I believe her name is Amber. But the lyrics, that's Reggie.
Yeah, this was the first time I seen the female feature with the Lock Band. So I thought that was
Yeah. So we keep doing it different. We keep making it bigger and better.
Yes.
So you want to give a little teaser about what's coming
up? We have a lot of things in development. So just stay tuned to some future announcements. Got some really, really cool stuff that we continue to plan for the city of Atlanta.
All right. So I don't know. We'll let them know when it's time for them to know.
Yeah. Some really, really cool stuff. So stay tuned. Continue to watch all of our social media platforms. We'll get everybody updated with some really, really cool things coming up for 2023.
Let them know all your social media platforms because they may not know you, Terry.
So Mystique Entertainment, MYSTIQ Entertainment. You can check us out on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Mystique Entertainment with a little underscore at the end of it. So again, the Don't Be a Bully Foundation, you can look that up as also. You can check out our line of t-shirts for breast cancer survivors. It's our Rockin' My Glory and Together We Fight t-shirts. You can find that on Etsy. and again, all the different social media platforms.
Shout out to his wife Kim. Those are her.
Yeah, Kim wasn't feeling her best this weekend, so she sends her love to everybody. Thanks for everybody asking and checking on the first lady also.
Yeah, yeah. And so you want to throw out your phone number because I always give it to people.
Phone number is 404-542-1565. And if you're ever in the Atlanta metro area, if you have any family reunions, corporate events, or if you're just in the city, hang out, then please check in, man. I love to hang out with the Eloradians. When it comes to the city, go do some cool things. And again, any major events coming up, we'd love to have you out on one of our luxury yachts.
I tell people all the time that Terry really does think, I don't know, maybe the mayor of, no, the governor.
Yeah, I'm kind of the mayor of the docks, on the lake. But that is something that we started about 15 years ago. That was just just kind of hanging out on the lake with family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it just continued to snowball. And so one day the little light bulb went off. And so from something that was just a hobby, I mean, we're 15 years in, we have the largest fleet of luxury houseboats on Lake Lanier. And somewhere in the near future, we may expand out to Miami, looking at a couple other areas. But right now, Lake Lanier is on the Margaritaville Resort. We just opened up a new conference center and a game changer room that's kind of like a main event of Dave & Buster's with escape rooms, virtual games, and golf. And so continue to grow and expand that business also.
I was just gonna say, whenever you're in the area, he feels like you're supposed to call him.
You need to check in. You're coming to the A. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate it if you check in.
Because I promise you, he will. He and his wife will make you feel at home. So you definitely should let him know. Let him know that you're coming. Don't wait till you get there and get ready to leave because you will be in trouble. Let him know when you're coming, and if he can do anything to accommodate you, they will definitely do that. So I know that from experience. I appreciate it. So yes, a lot of things going on, as he mentioned, there in that area. It is beautiful. I've had the opportunity to go and be on their boats a couple of times, one for a birthday party, one for just, like you said, a family and friends, little hangout, and the water is very calming. So that's why whenever you see Terry, that's why he looks so relaxed. That's why his work, I say goofing off because you're working on the lake, you're working with horses, the number one pawpaw, and it just looks like his life is just one big party.
Yeah. Well, at this point, like I'll say this, what people don't see sometimes it's the work.
Yeah.
Again, I was in corporate for 23 years. The last 3 or 4 years of that, at one point I had 3 full-time jobs. Okay. So working at home, full-time 8 to 5. I also had a second job that I was doing remotely. Then I'm working down third shift. And so you're talking, 3 jobs in a week, and then every weekend I had the business on the lake going. So a lot of work, a lot of commitment and dedication to it. But everything that I was doing at the time, I loved it. So not knowing that the corporate career was coming to an end, the perfect timing to take your own product and really develop and put the work in. And so to do what you love, get up and do every single day, like it's the best. I probably wish I had it in the world soon.
Okay, but timing is of the essence. Yeah. So you have the opportunity to now do all the things that you love to do. And they say when you do what you love,
it's never work.
It's never work.
And back when we were saying earlier about good health and people making things in the world easier, like my team is amazing. We cross-train quite a bit so everybody now can take care of their primary job, but everybody have secondary as well as tertiary responsibilities. And when you get a good team and people love working for you, it shows. And so, we have a high return of customers that come back every single year to do events with us. So, again, just doing what I love to do. Blessed to be able to do it.
Awesome. And I share in that. I can remember us having a conversation. This was when I was still in the mayor's seat. Literally, I was in the seat. So, just kind of thinking, again, we think back quite a bit about growing up and never would have imagined growing up that we would be in the positions that we're in now. And so God is definitely good.
Yeah.
I thank him for opportunities. And I think that's the big thing is that you realize that your opportunity will be an opportunity for somebody else along the way. So
yeah. But we've seen a lot of entrepreneurs develop just from our business. Several bartenders have come up with their own mobile bartending service. Our caterers and chef, John is now an executive chef up in Tennessee, so he's too big for us now.
Right.
But we continue to have Chef Tony. A lot of our DJs have gone and continue to do bigger and better things. So we definitely encourage you.
Shout out to DJ Pedred. I just
so we definitely encourage everybody within our company to expand and develop their own business. Even David, I mean, he has a Bluetooth speaker rental as part of the business. So,
okay.
Yeah, we want to keep everybody in that mindset. Work hard. Nothing wrong with a job in 40 hours, but find your dream, continue to work and develop that.
Do that. You gotta do that. So we mentioned the book earlier, Adventures of David and Papa, and I accredit that book and several others to me venturing out and doing the book by Mimi is the Mayor for my granddaughter, Skylar, who happens to have the same birthday as Mr. Terry.
I knew it was something special about it.
It's kind of weird. But that particular venture allowed me to kind of segue because I started that as well as this podcast before the transition out of the mayor's office, but definitely gave me a good platform. For those of you who were able to attend the ball, if you've seen any video or any pictures, Skylar was at the ball. Skylar danced all night. Skylar is a new superstar, so she is helping sign the book. If you've not already ordered the book, you can still get it. It's on Amazon as well. You can order it from me. We got a shipment in. We're gonna do a few book signings and just want to help get that word out because it's not only just a story, it's her story and it's history. Because Skylar's only 4, and look at all of the herstory that's happened. Not just me being the mayor and being the first woman, the first person of color, but our vice president of the United States, our first Supreme Court justice. All that happened within her life, and so it's mentioned in the book. So it's a cute little way to make sure that those things are continuing to be retold.
Yeah.
I have a few other books in me that I'm gonna do. We were just kind of alluding to some of the things that we were told when we were younger. So I got to do the one for my grandmother, and of course we got to talk about being the mayor.
Yes,
Got to do that.
A must write.
Yes, and so I keep telling Terry that he's got some books in him because, as he's mentioned before, his upbringing and how that has transitioned to what he's doing. I think some of the things that we have to realize is that everything in our lives happens for a reason. And our 15 years of going through something could be the 15 minutes that you pour into somebody else that makes a huge difference in their lives. So I think if we're honest, just like all of us have a testimony or testimonies, all of us have a book or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So he's gonna write his book, or he's gonna let me write it, and I'll get the
somebody grabs right there.
So yeah. So Terry, anything else you want to share? I want to appreciate you so much for stopping through. I know when you come home, you have a lot of things to do, but I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with me this evening. It's always important that, in the little theme song, we talk about pour up some wine and all of that. We're not actually having wine, but coffee is always good. And if you want to put a little something extra in it, do what you do. Yeah.
No, just thankful. I just want everybody to remain positive. Keep your circle tight. Again, I always say iron sharpens iron. Mm-hmm. So keep somebody around you that you can feed off of. That's going to always offer you words of encouragement. And continue to just build, support each other. Grow.
That's it. With that being said, and I'm gonna go back to the fact that Terry and I are friends, but we've had some, can I say, intense conversations from time to time, because I think if you're really someone's friend, you can't mind telling and hearing the truth.
Yes.
And as a friend, you can call somebody, I won't say call them out, but help them see that maybe
you can be honest, and if you respect that, you don't always have to agree with it.
Right.
But definitely be honest, be open, and be willing to change for something different, something better, if that's what it should be. And again, having that kind of circle, it's important to listen because you don't want to be the smartest one in the circle.
And also, there are a lot of times where maybe the truth hurts a little bit. Terry shared some truths with me that maybe didn't feel so good, and vice versa. Right. But I think if you're friends with someone, you should respect the fact that they're not going to ever tell you something to hurt you, even if it doesn't feel good. And I think that's something that maybe, I won't say in our culture, but maybe in this time that's kind of missing because everybody wants credit. Right. You even with kids, you got, okay, just because they played, they get a trophy, and that may help to a certain degree, but you got to be real about some things. That's not how life always is. So I think at our age, definitely, you want real friends that'll tell you the real truth And I'm of the mindset, and I think this is somewhere where we're quite a bit alike. Don't ask me if you don't want me to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I don't have no filter, so I'm pretty direct with it.
Yeah.
But it comes from a good place. So.
That's it. So we do have that in common. So that's why sometimes our conversations may be a little colorful, because we can tell each other the truth and laugh at it from time to time, because it's just like that. So I can respect the fact that our friendship is not only a friendship, but also a partnership. Again, we don't always agree. And one of the terms I like to use is that we wear a lot of different hats.
Yeah.
That's another insider. We do. We wear a lot of different hats, but ultimately we wear them all well. We stay in our own lane. He thinks he's always right. I think I'm always right. But we meet up in the middle and we make it work. The ball, again, we're looking at revamping it a bit, but as he mentioned, all of the background to that is very important. So we want people to understand when we put on events, it's not ever that we just throw something together. We put a lot of thought, a lot of insight to it, a lot of moving pieces to it. So we want you to know that when you come to an event that has Mayor Sunshine Mystique Entertainment on it, we want you to have a good time. And we're not gonna overcharge you. As a matter of fact,
Sure.
I don't think we charge enough for what you get, but entertainment is important to both of us because we want you to have a good time. So if you've never come to a Mayor Sunshine Mystique Entertainment event, make sure that when you see it again advertised, you want to come. You want to come. And I'm not just saying that because I'm Mayor Sunshine and that he's Mystique Entertainment. We enjoy the events we put
I
on.
love phenomenal.
Yes, yes. So when you see us having a good time, I think I have a better time than Terry because I'm not always dance.
Well, I like to sit back and watch everybody enjoy it. So from everything, I'm looking at lights, I'm checking out sound. But the biggest thing is I love to see people smile and dance and have a good time. So, and we see that. So again, thank you for everyone that supports the events that we do.
So our big thing after the event is the lessons learned. What did we do good? What did we do great? What do we need to change? What do we need to leave off? And so I will be honest with you, after the last ball, it's hard for us to tell what we need to change because I think it was really good. So again, thank you all for coming out, supporting not only us, but supporting the event. Thank you all for supporting Turning Point because they are the beneficiaries of the proceeds of this particular or that particular ball. But just want you all to understand again, if ever you see us advertising something, know that it's going to be a good time. And it's going to be, what is the word I'm looking for?
We usually have a cause.
Yeah, we have a cause for sure, but it's going to be classy.
Yes, top notch.
Yes,
Top notch.
that. And we always have a cause, even if the cause is for events that we have coming up, like for the kids and things of that nature. One of the things that we didn't get a chance to do last year is that we always do something for Christmas.
Yes.
And last year, just kind of with all the transitions, we just didn't get a chance to do that. But that's something else that we always do. So yeah. We about giving back. We gonna ball, we gonna go back in the days, we gonna do all of that, but we gonna give back.
Yeah.
So again, thank you, Terry, for being here. I was trying to make sure we covered everything that we needed to cover. I think we did a good job.
Oh yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
All right. So thank y'all for tuning in. As always, y'all be blessed. Be a blessing. Do it on purpose and do it with purpose. We all know why. Because you can. Yeah.